Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's Monday at 9 o'clock, which means it's time for a Marketing for Magicians. And today I'm going to be taking kind of a step back from the videos I've been doing recently. I've been doing, videos on improving your sales, improving your marketing. And I'm going to be talking today about side hustles. And the reason I'm going to do that is because in the UK, where I am, we're basically in a situation where magicians and entertainers, children's entertainers, performers, it's almost impossible for us to perform at live events for the foreseeable future. The government have just announced that for the next 6 months, we've basically got this rule of 6 in place, which is to say that we can't really have more than 6 people in a group at any one time, which makes it next to impossible for magicians to kind of do their thing. How can you do close-up magic when you can't get close to people and you can't hang around with people? It's a very difficult thing, and nobody knows what's happening from one day to the next. Things are changing on a daily basis, but you have to be realistic and kind of think, well, for the end of 2020, even for a big chunk of 2021, things are going to be very, very different. Now, I will say that at some point this will end. I've seen magicians just like go, it's never going to be the same again. I'm quitting. I'm selling all of my stuff, and that's a real shame, because at some point it is going to flip. It is going to change. It's not going to be like this forever. You're telling me that nobody is ever going to get married ever again? It's going to happen. And when it does, entertainment, I genuinely believe, will experience a massive boom, because people will have been starved of live entertainment and will want it more than ever before. However, that doesn't help in the short to medium term. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk about 11 things that you as a magician can do to make money, generate income, while the world is chaotic. So while you're in a situation where you can't do the gigs that you would normally do, and your inquiries are lower, and your bookings are getting cancelled left, right, and centre, what can you do to make money while you're waiting for everything to return back to normal? So that's what this video is all about. The one thing I will tell you is, outside of these 11 things, and I've talked about this on video before, but I'll mention it again now because it's so important. Outside of these 11 things, you really should be working on your business. My business mentor, Brad Burton, he always says, what does this make possible? Yeah, it's not a great situation, but what does it make possible? And one thing that it makes possible is you can work on your business. All of the stuff that you wanted to do inside your business, but you never had time, now you get a chance to do it. Now, that might be blog writing. It might be improving your SEO on your website. It might be getting a website. It might be improving your social media. It might be systemizing stuff, putting new systems in place. It might be getting a new act together, working on a new act. It might be, you're a magician, a close-up magician, but you want to put a stage show together. Or you're a stage magician, but you want to put a mentalism show together. Or you're a kids entertainer, but you want to put a family show together. So all of these things, now is the time to do it. The stuff that you've always put off and said, I'm never going to have time to do that. This is your time to actually do all of that stuff that you've put off. So that's the first thing. That's not part of my 11, because the 11 things I'm going to be going through with you are stuff that you can actually do right now to make money. However, I just want to add that you should also be working on your business. So let's have a look at these 11 things. So number 1, we have Zoom shows, or we have virtual shows or online shows. Now, I've seen a massive split in the magic community. 50% of people love the idea of virtual shows. 50% of people hate the idea of virtual shows. And I've looked around on the internet. I've spoken to people on both sides of the camp, so to speak. And generally, as a rule, the people that say they don't like virtual shows, they don't like virtual shows because you can't charge as much money for them. It's a saturated market. They don't enjoy performing to camera. There's not that live element there. And I totally get that. But the bottom line is, Zoom shows or virtual shows are a way to continue to make money as a magician, and it's a way to continue to remain visible. So, I have 2 companies, Non-Stop Kids and Slightly Unusual. Non-Stop Kids Entertainment, right back in March when the country got locked down, we started doing virtual parties. We're now in a situation, like I said earlier, where we can't really do live parties at all, and we're just doing virtual parties. I'm now recording this on Wednesday morning, and since Monday, so for the last 2 days, I think we've taken like 35 virtual party bookings. So the point I'm trying to make is, people now at the beginning of lockdown, it was very difficult to sell people on the idea of a virtual party because it didn't make sense. But now, 6 months on, a lot of people have gone to virtual parties, they've experienced it, and it's starting to become something that parents are open to. And we're seeing a massive upturn in our inquiries and our bookings for virtual parties. So the first thing I'd say is put together a virtual act. Now, you may not like performing, but if it's a choice between performing online and performing to camera, or not doing what you love, I'm sure most people would like to perform to camera. Now, if you don't, and it's just a completely horrible idea for you, that's absolutely fine. But genuinely, virtual parties are a great way to make money. And not just with children's entertainment. So, I also do virtual parties for corporates, and it's decent money. I'm going, I'll be honest with you, I've got a virtual booking for a corporate luncheon, for 40 people on Zoom, all the different department heads, they're getting together, they want a 1 hour session. I'm just doing some magic, and I'm doing some magic, and I'm doing a bit of a workshop, kind of like a team building thing where I'm teaching them a couple of simple tricks of business cards. And, I'm charging £300 plus VAT for that. So the money's there. It's not bad. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, yeah? You may not want to do virtual parties, but it's a way of keeping that cash flow coming in. And that's important when you're in this situation and everything's gone down, inquiries and bookings have gone down. Cash is king, so you have to continue with that cash flow. So honestly, I would look into virtual parties because it's becoming more and more the norm, and it will help keep you visible so that when you come out of this, you can go, hey, I've been performing, people have seen me. You might even be in a situation where you've attracted more people to your brand because of the virtual bookings that you've done. It's one way to look at it. Number 2, this works really well if you are especially a family entertainer or a kids entertainer, but it also works quite well for close-up guys as well. And that's by marketing mini shows or VIP shows. The bottom line is here in the UK, we can't have more than 6 people gather. So you could have 5 people and an entertainer. So you can have 5 people and a magician. So I could go to someone's garden and I could perform for them. If there were 5 people there and me, that makes 6 people. So market a VIP show. Actually market the exclusivity, I don't know. Market an exclusive event. Hey, this is super exclusive. You get 5 people and I will come along and I will do a close-up show. I'll do a parlour show. This is the sort of thing that you would have seen in the Kings and Queens parlours back in England. That's why it got its name, parlour show. And actually offer a VIP experience. Or if you're a kids entertainer, maybe market it as a mini experience. Hey, your child can still have a birthday party. Have you heard about our amazing mini children's birthday party options? And kind of go down that route. Another thing that you can do if you want to still continue to perform live is do a doorstep visit. So kind of be in a situation where you're offering like a doorstep show. So you kind of knock on someone's door and they're there and you're outside and you're doing an act for them on the doorstep. Now this could be quite good, especially at Christmas. So at Christmas you could offer a Christmas themed meet and greet with a elf. For example, I know a lot of people do meet and greets with elves, but they normally just mess around in the back garden. But you could come as an elf and do a half an hour meet and greet on their doorstep where you're doing magic and stuff. So just because it's difficult to perform in a live environment, it's not impossible. So look at different ways of marketing a show specifically for a smaller amount of people and then put a show together designed to actually work really well in that environment. So number 3 is online magic lessons. My son is a magician. A lot of you know, you see him on the review show on Wednesday. I teach him myself, but he's also an amazing drummer. He practices drumming every single day. He's got 2 drum kits and he's got his own drum teacher. And his drum teacher has continued to not just be busy, be really busy because he's doing online drum lessons. You can teach magic online. Talk about, put together a blog, put together some social media posts about the importance of learning magic to a child. And it doesn't have to just be for a child. You could teach magic to, depends on your audience. If you're a nightclub magician and you do a lot of nightclubs and that's how you've got a name for yourself, you could do magic lessons, teaching guys how to do tricks to pull women or something like that. I don't know. If you're a kids entertainer or a family entertainer, you can do magic lessons for children. There's lots of different options. You could even contact corporates and say, hey, would you like me to teach you some tricks that you can do over Zoom to break the ice when you're actually at a networking event over Zoom? You know, there's all these different options, and it doesn't have to be very expensive for the end user. If you've got a Zoom account and you can say, hey, we'll have 20 people at £5 for an hour. I do a 1 hour lesson. There's 20 people, £5 an hour. You just set that Zoom thing up for an hour, and you know, you do it every single week, or maybe you get people to pay per month. So they pay for a month and they get access to 4 lessons and they get a slot. You could even, you know, there's a lot of online teaching websites where they offer online content for homeschooling, which is becoming more and more popular these days. Maybe you could reach out to somewhere like that and say, hey, have you ever thought about having magic lessons as part of your program? That's something that I could do for you. But doing online magic lessons, that could work really, really well. So number 4, you've got balloon delivery. I know there's a few people in the UK that are doing this already. If you are a good balloon modeler, I talk about balloon modeling because it's kind of a side skill with magic. A lot of people that do magic, they're also good balloon modelers. So if you're a good balloon modeler, you could offer a balloon delivery in your local area. You know, post in the local Facebook groups. Hey, are you having a birthday party? You're looking for something unique to get? Then we can offer, you know, these balloons, and put some Facebook posts out and put some pictures in there. Price it reasonably. You can do okay with that. As I say, I've got some friends that are balloon modelers, and they're going out and they're doing that, and they're just busy all day giving balloons out to people and making balloons. And you know, it's a great thing. It's a great side hustle that will allow you to continue to generate an income on a daily basis without actually really having to do much other than make up some balloons. So if you're a good balloon modeler, you know, start posting in some local Facebook groups and put some photos in there of the balloons that you can make, and offer people, you know, a custom-made balloon for an anniversary, a birthday, a special occasion. Okay, number 5 is get a job. You know, you could go and get a job. You could run your business alongside actually having a full-time or a part-time job. But I've got a caveat on this. You know, I see a lot of people that are going and getting jobs, and it's like, well, I'm going to be a delivery driver, or I'm going to be this, or I'm going to be that. If you're going to go and get a job, why not use the opportunity to try and get a job where you can level yourself up? And what I mean by that is look at your business and look at what you do in your business that you're not very good at. So let's take sales, for example. If you're not a very good salesperson, if you're not very good at speaking to people on the phone and converting those inquiries into bookings, well, maybe you want to look into a sales job. Sales jobs are going through the roof at the moment. I know a lot of people that are actually doing sales jobs right now, and they're advertising for people with no experience because full training's provided. Well, you could go and get yourself a job, but you can look at it as you're leveling up your ability to sell, so that when all of this comes to the end, you know, you're going to be in a situation where you've improved in certain aspects that you need to improve in order to run your business more effectively. And I don't know what that is. I'm using sales as an example, but hey, it might be that you want to become a better bookkeeper, and you know, you want to, I don't know what it is, but look for a job where they give you training and whatever it is that you want to level up in your business, and look at this as like, yeah, okay, you have to take 1 step backwards, but you're taking 1 step backwards to take 5 steps forward. And again, it's like Brad Burton says, what does this make possible? So if you're going to get a job, try to level yourself up. So number 6, this is an interesting one. Maybe personalized recordings or personalized meet and greets for you know, birthday parties and stuff like that. And what I'm talking about here are these companies that also do characters. So I know a lot of magicians that also kind of do characters, you know, especially kids entertainers. You do see a lot of character-based kids companies, you know, hey, I can supply Spider-Man, I can supply Batman and that sort of stuff. Now, I'm not going to go into this video about whether that's ethical or not. That's a discussion for another video as to whether you should do that or not. But what I am going to say is, if it is something that you do, if you have a business model where you supply characters, then why not offer videos? You know, pay £5 and we'll do a personalized video from Batman or whatever it may be for your child. You know, my son is a massive fan of Captain America. If somebody offered that, and I've never seen anyone offer it, but if one of these character companies that did Captain America offered a £5 thing where they record a 2-minute video going, hey, Ryland, how you doing? This is Captain America. You know what? I'd probably pay the £5 because it's only £5, and I know Ryland would absolutely love it and would watch it back again and again and again. So that's something that you could maybe do if you're a character company, and I've not seen that done before. Okay, so number 7 is contact theatres because, according to the government, theatres can open. The trouble is, because of social distancing, a lot of the stuff that a theatre would normally show can't be shown, right? It just can't happen. I've got a friend who runs a panto company, and they're not able to do panto this year for a few different reasons. They can't sing live, so they kind of went down the route of maybe, well, possibly, they can pre-record the songs and mime them, but then they've got like 12 people in the cast and it was going to be difficult there. It's almost impossible to have big productions in a theatre, even though theatres can open. So we're in a situation now where theatres can open. Furlough scheme is coming to an end. So if you contact a theatre and just say, I'm a magician, I do a one-man act, there won't be anyone on stage with me, my act is COVID secure, I won't get members of the audience to come up on stage with me, instead I've developed an act that is really interactive, but people stay sat in their seats. I'll discourage cheering and clapping, whatever it is, all of the different rules and regulations that we currently have to adhere to. If you contact theatres and make your way to speaking to the right person at the theatre and you offer them this as an option and they know that they can put that on, well, they'll probably do that on a ticket split with you. You won't even have to do anything because right now they want to offer stuff. People are starved of live entertainment. I know a couple of friends who run theatres, and I'm actually doing this with a couple of theatres, and they are desperate for live entertainment and they don't know where to go to get it. Well, if you can offer them a show where they don't have to do anything but market it for you, they'll market it heavy because there's very few shows that are going on at the moment, and hey presto, you've got yourself a couple of theatre shows. And if you think about all of the different theatres that there are in your local area, you can be very, very busy just doing one theatre night and then going to another theatre, and another theatre, or even start making runs for yourself. So contacting theatres and talking to them about the possibility of running your show, I think it'll be beneficial to both the theatre and also it'll be beneficial for you as well. Number 8, which is get a residency. You see, you can still have a residency in a restaurant. Restaurants are still open. People are still in the restaurant. If you have a face shield on and you make sure the close-up magic that you're doing is COVID secure and people aren't grabbing cards and stuff like that, you can still do that. You can still have you can still perform in a restaurant. And the reason I'm putting this one out is we've just booked in 2 residencies through Slightly Unusual, my company. We've just booked in 2 residencies in the last week. All through November and December, we're going to be appearing at these 2 different restaurants, and we're going to be doing it in the day on a weekend, which is fantastic. It's going to be sort of 12 till 3 because, at the moment we've got a curfew where at 10 o'clock everybody has to go, and well, even before 10, everything has to be shut up at 10 o'clock. So because of that, we're bringing everything forward. A lot of restaurants are, especially the family restaurants, they're trying to encourage families to come in and dine, and they're looking for that hook. How they're going to get people in to their restaurant. So if you can say, hey, I'm a COVID secure business, I've really developed my act to work in a restaurant, I've got a lot of experience working in restaurants, these are the advantages of having a magician in your restaurant, it'll give you a competitive advantage, it'll mean that blah, blah, blah. And I can do a video if you want me to on how to pitch a restaurant to have a residency, because there's certain things that you want to say to them that will be music to their ear. But at the moment, they're looking for that competitive advantage. So just because you don't think that you can't perform anywhere, restaurants are a good place to try and get residencies now more than ever. Don't think that you can't go down that route. It's going to take a little bit of hard work, but you won't have to spend anything. So like I say, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a video on how to get residencies. But right now, residencies are very easy to get and you should try and get them. So number 9 is create magic. The thing about this whole situation is it's the professionals and the semi-professionals that have been hit the hardest by COVID-19 and by the subsequent rules and regulations, because it stopped us from going out and being able to perform as we normally would. But the people that buy magic, 70 to 80% of them are hobbyists and amateurs that still have a full-time job in a viable industry. They still have a viable job. They still got their money coming in. In fact, they're not going out as much because there's restrictions in place. And so they're still spending money on magic. I know from speaking to magic dealers that people are spending just as much on magic as ever before. Your full-time pros, they're the tight ones. They're the ones who don't really like to spend much money because they've got their act that they go out and they do when they're being booked to perform close-up magic, and they don't want to change it. So more more people are buying magic now than ever before. So if you're a creator, maybe you lean on that side of things for a while and you focus on creating magic and releasing magic, because magic dealers are always looking for new tricks to put out. Now, again, I've got a caveat here. The caveat for this is try to make sure that it's a good trick. I have done many rants on this subject that, you know, if you're a guy and you're in a situation where you're a magician, but you've never really created anything, I don't think you want to start sitting there and creating tricks to start releasing now. But if you're somebody who's like, maybe over the course of the last 15 years, you developed your own tricks and you've not been releasing them because you've kept them for your own audiences, well, maybe now over the next 6 months, you start contacting somebody like Penguin, somebody like Alakazam, somebody like Murphys, and you say, look, let me show you all of this stuff that I've got. You know, could I release it as a project or as a download? You know, there are, in every magic company, they now have a point of contact where magicians can reach out to talk to about you know, releasing magic tricks. So if you're a magician, you've created your own material and it's good, now might be the time to start releasing that material. Okay, so number 10 is, and I've got some notes here, so let me go through the notes. Number 10 is set up an OOSS. Now, an OOSS is a out-of-school setting provider. So basically what the government said when they brought all these restrictions in that stopped magicians from being able to perform, they said that OOSSs can still be viable. They can still run. It's why my daughter Thea can still go to her dance classes, because it's an organised thing. It's why Cub Scouts and, you know, brownies and things like that are still operating, because they are OOSSs. Now, that doesn't mean that you can set yourself up, if you're a kids entertainer, you can't set yourself up as an OOSS and suddenly turn around and go, right, you can now book kids' parties because I'm an OOSS. It doesn't work that way. However, why not set up your own OOSS? I've done some research into this. Anybody can set up an out-of-school setting provider. Anybody can set them up, and as long as it's an activity, it's fine. So you could set up a magic school after 4 o'clock, after school, and as long as it's all done correctly, you can start offering that. Children can come and be a part of that, and they will, you know, there's nothing illegal about doing that. In fact, it's absolutely fine. So I looked into what you need to do to set up an OOSS. First of all, you need a DBS check. Now, I know children's entertainers especially, they always go back and forth on whether DBS checks are valid or not. In this situation, it is valid because you're going to have the same kids with you week after week. So you will need a DBS check. You also need to be a COVID secure business, and there is a checklist on the government website that you can go through to actually prove that you're a COVID secure business. But outside of that, you don't need to be a qualified teacher. You don't need to have any experience doing out of school setting provisions. You don't need to have anything like that. All you need is a COVID secure venue to run it in. You can't run it from your home. But village halls can be open, and village halls are more accepting of OOSSs than they are of having a party, because they don't want to kind of go down that route. You'll find that a lot of OOSSs are already set up through various different venues, and you could probably speak to your school about where they're actually being held. Outside of that, you don't need anything. I did some research. Most local councils have something called a quality assurance certificate, which you can apply for when you've got your OOSS. So once you've got your venue and your DBS check and you've set it all up, you can contact the council and you can apply for a quality assurance certificate, and basically you just have some hoops to go through to prove that you're compliant. So you have to check that you've got safeguarding in place, you have to check to make sure there's a few other bits and pieces in place, but outside of that, they will then give you a quality assurance certificate. Now, you don't need that, but that will put you on the website for the council of the OOSSs that they recommend. You can then go to schools if you wanted to and say, hey, I'm an OOSS, can I come into your school, or can I do a Zoom call to the whole assembly and talk about what it is that we're doing? And I don't know many OOSSs that do magic, but you could set up magic school out of hours after school, and you could get all of these kids to come to this on a weekend. You could do it as well, and it could be a great way of making additional income and open you up to a whole new sector of people that didn't know you beforehand. So I've not done this, but I wanted to do the research, so I knew I wasn't talking rubbish. That's why I've got all these notes here, and it is something that is viable, that we can do, and I haven't seen anyone else doing it. And number 11, the final one, is something that I'm actually doing myself right now, and you're helping with it, which is creating a YouTube channel. Now, I did notice before, just when the country got locked down, a lot of magicians were sharing each other's YouTube accounts around. And the reason they were sharing each other's YouTube accounts around, it was like, you subscribe to me, you subscribe to me, I'll subscribe to you. And, then we can get monetized. And once we're monetized, then we can make a fortune from YouTube. Well, YouTube is a way to actually make money, but it's not as easy as that. It really isn't as easy as that, because what they do, there's a few different hoops that you need to jump through. And if you want me to do a video on this, I can. But there's a few different hoops that you need to jump through when it comes to YouTube. First of all, you need 1,000 subscribers. And then you need 4,000 hours of watch time a month. Okay, a year. You need 4,000 hours of watch time a year. So it's not really, a lot of people think it's to do with views and how many people view the video. It's got nothing to do with views. It's got to do with watch time, and you need 4,000 hours. Now that's a lot. That is an awful lot. Once you've got 4,000 hours of watch time and you've got 1,000 subscribers, then you can then approach YouTube to go into their partner program, which can take a while for them to decide whether you're actually okay to be in the partner program or not. And then once you're actually in the partner program, you then have to set up an AdSense account. And then once you've set up an AdSense account, then you can connect the whole thing up. And then at that point, you can switch on monetization and you can start monetizing your channel. It is not an easy thing to do. Originally, when I set up this YouTube channel, it was originally for my business, slightly unusual, and then I kind of pivoted it and aimed it more towards magicians. And the first thing that I did is the YouTube show with Rylan, my son, just because we were having a laugh, we were watching magic together, and I was like, why don't we do a review show? And everyone was talking about how much they liked it, so I started to do other videos, and I started to do other videos and other videos, and I didn't actually apply to be monetized. I got an email one day that says, hey, your channel now can be monetized. Would you like to monetize it? And I was like, no, not really. And I just carried on doing the things I was doing. I wasn't doing it to be monetized at all. And then my wife said, well, why aren't you monetizing? You're putting, like, you guys don't realize how much work I'm putting in. I'm probably putting in about 7 to 8 hours a day between creating the content, coming up with unique ideas for the content, editing it, creating the thumbnails, the tags, the descriptions, the titles. It's a full-time job. It really is. But I'm actually loving it. That's one of the reasons I'm doing it. I was like, okay, I'll monetize it, no problem. Now, to give you an idea, just to give you an idea, you see, I put 14 videos up a week. And I've got a big watch time. My watch time is currently running at 4,000 hours a month. So every single month I get 4,000 hours. So the amount that you need for a whole year, I get in 1 month, which is quite good as a new YouTube channel with just, I think, 2,300 subscribers or something like that. So it's really, really good. And I switched the monetization on about 4 days ago, and I've made about $60. I've made about $60, which is totally not worth the effort. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm not thinking about it as monetization. I've just switched it on, don't really do much with that side of things. But that'll give you an idea of the amount of effort I'm putting in, and I've made $60 in 4 days. But, I mean, obviously that can grow and that can grow and that can grow. The point I'm trying to make is YouTube is a way to make money through this whole thing, because, you know, you can sit there and you can create content, but you need to make sure that you're putting good content out, and it needs to be consistently every single, you know, you need to constantly be putting good content out. So it's a difficult thing to do. Don't think it's a get rich quick scheme. It's really not. I can tell you that from personal experience. But I have done a lot of research into YouTube and what makes a good YouTube video and what doesn't make a good YouTube video, and how you can actually generate more clicks on a YouTube video, and I've done a lot of research into that. So if you guys would like me to put a video together for you so you can see that, and I'll share the screen, I'll go through all of that, just let me know in the comments down below. But that's my final idea, which is, you know, if you're sitting there and you can't gig, maybe you can do YouTube, and maybe you can come up with an idea for a YouTube channel, and you can start creating content and putting that out there. But it is a lot of hard work, just a lot. I'm saying that because I saw so many magicians going, oh, you know, we'll just share each other and we can make money off YouTube. It's totally not like that. But it is a way. You know, there's a lot of YouTubers out there making a lot of money. So it is possible. So anyway, there you go. That is 11 ideas that I think that any magician could use to make money during this whole period. I'll leave you with one thought, which is this is not going to last forever. I've seen magicians quit and I've seen magicians give up. I've seen children's entertainers quit and give up. And please understand, this is not going to be forever. In the grander scheme of things, this is going to be a blip that will be over. You know, am I saying that everything's going to go back to normal next month or next year? No. But at some point, things will go back to normal. And I think you've got to have that positive outlook on life. You know, you've got to have that positive outlook on life. You can't walk through life being negative. You have to look on the positive side of things. And, you know, whatever it is you decide to do, maybe you want to start doing Zoom shows. Maybe you want to set up a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to level up and get a job, wherever it may be. My advice to you is go big or go home. If you're going to commit to something, commit to it 100%. And don't half-arse it. And if you don't give it 100%, it will fail and you will only have yourself to blame. It's as simple as that. But guys, I want to know what you think in the comments down below. I've mentioned a few of the videos I could do for you. If you like that idea, let me know. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Got to get my watch time up. Subscribe to the channel. You know, I think tomorrow we've got another magic talk with the legend that is Gary Jones, one of the best UK magicians, hell, one of the best magicians worldwide. So have a look out for that. I'm on review show on Wednesday, magic stuff on Thursday, Fridays a rant, Saturdays an honest trailer, and Sundays a Q&A. So I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.